Test. 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 Testing. One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five. Hey yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to part two of this project. So we're making a chessboard, medieval chessboard, 3D printed medieval chessboard, and we're using Zbrush, character creator, and we're all gonna send that to Lychee Sclicer. So last week we were doing from a base match of character creator, we sent it to Zbrush, we modified it to have this result, and this project is sent to character creator over and then to Zbrush over and over again. So here we go. What we're gonna do now is we have the information right here that it's already based for the base of the character, sorry. And we're gonna make some accessories. And doesn't mean like an armor set. We'll start probably the armor, but since we're doing multiple characters, like the rook, the bishop, the knight, the pawn, and also I think I'm missing one. There's the queen, but there's another one. Hmm. Rook, bishop, knight. pawn. Oh yeah, the king. Yeah. So we're doing the king right now. Uh, to the exception of the queen, all the other characters will be male. So we're gonna do some different hairstyle for each of them, and we can already see what it could look like. So if we go to content and we add a hairstyle to that character, we can choose the country style. And we could say that this one is done, but we're not going with this hair. We're gonna stick to a more stylized uh, style of hair. So it's not gonna be a actual foliage because this is 3D printed, but we can change and swap hair from one character to another. See this completely different style. And using this tool in Character Creator will make our bank of hairs for each of our characters, and we'll just swap in, swap out on each one that we want. So the king will have a different hair, the pawn will have a different hair, the knight will have a different hair, the rook will have different hair. It's all different style of hair that we're gonna have in this project. Since Dwarf has spectacular beards, we're gonna do some beards also and mustaches, and we're gonna have different style of foliage for each character. For the king, we're probably gonna go for a long hair and a long beard, but a noble beard also. So for here, just gonna remove these hairs for now, and also the eyebrows. So we have our character over here. It's already set up in our ZBrush file over here. And as you can see, you won't have all the details in Character Creator, and that's completely normal because um, Character Creator only uses the lowest subdivision that you need. That way, it doesn't need to load all the details in geometry that you have. Because over here in ZBrush, you'll find out that the body is 860K of polygons right now. If we're going to the lowest subdivision, 13K. So it's a lot easier for Character Creator to handle 13K polygons instead of 800. The way we're going to use it is we're going to pose our character in Character Creator. Let's say, for example, we're picking this bench. Now he's popping a squat right here. We will obviously adjust the pose, but we can just swap from pose to pose whenever we want. So let's say he's sitting in a more relaxed way. As you can see, the hands are going through the body. We will adjust the pose to fit the character since the proportion has been changed. Character Creator is trying to read the best that it can, but it does understand that this bone has to go there, this bone has to go there, but it doesn't understand the boundaries of the modification that we did. So this is our base of the pose, and we'll tweak it in here and also in ZBrush. This needs a lot of modification, but the gist of it is there. So if we were to modify the pose real quick, we'll go to Edit Pose, and here we'll just rotate a little. Just rotate a little bit the arm, just so it fits better the pose. Right here, here, just a little bit higher. We might have to rotate the armpit, the forearm, and here for the hand, we'll rotate over here. And as for the shoulders, we'll probably have to rotate right here. Now, obviously, we're not going to use this pose because it's not related at all to the character we want, but let's say we would want a king sitting on a throne. Now this one is pretty much close to the what we want, but we might want it higher. The throne might be higher, probably leaning a little bit less. We're gonna take the torso over here, right here, and we can imagine maybe he has a sword right between his arms with the crown, and we have the throne. So yeah, we can imagine a multiple poses. Zoomed in way out. So we can imagine multiple poses that we can create from this model. For the king, I was thinking more of a standing up, relaxed position, like a little proud of himself. He's controlling this empire and has all the power since he's a king, right? Might be something like that, or it might be even something that I created a while ago on another character. We can go to custom over here, and we'll go to, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, animation, pose, and here I have this bear character, and it has this standing pose. He's holding a sword in this case, so we can imagine the sword right here, and on this side he's holding another weapon, or not even, maybe he's just having his hand relaxed. We can put the hand relaxed, or we can even put a battle pose like so. We'll have to tweak the muscles obviously, but the base of the movement and base of the pose will be right here. And when we send that to ZBrush, we'll have to tweak the pose to make it more appealing. You can also have a pose like this. And remember that we don't see the full details right here. So every time you send it to character creator, you have the minimum of the details that you have in ZBrush. So once we're sending that into ZBrush, it'll automatically put in our subdivision that we already have. So we're gonna go back to our regular pose right here. We'll go back and grab our restore pose. So remember, we will go to a relaxed hand right here for both hands. There we go. Here you go. So now we have the same pose that we have here. We could send it from character creator to ZBrush, make sure that everything is going okay, but I just did it before starting the stream, so you won't have to load again this kind of information. So we'll go right here and we'll start already with the foliage, the facial hair that we want. So we can crank up the subdivision. As you can see, we have a lot more details of the muscles all shown up over here. And I also took the liberty to create some fingernails. As you can see now, it's really at a low subdivision, so we can actually subdivide once, maybe 2 times. We can go over here, and actually what we can do, make sure that symmetry is on, so you don't have to do it all over again. We'll activate dynamic subdivision, and this is my custom UI. These information you'll see in geometry, and dynamic subdivision is here. Dynamic subdivision it's like a pre-subdivision without full committing into your geometry. And if you subdivide in geometry, if you divide, so now you have those subdivision levels. So in order to use the Z modeler tool that we're going to use, we're going to need the dynamic subdivision on. So instead of dividing, I'm going to cancel that until I don't have my division. And then I'm going to keep the dynamic subdiv. Right here, we're going to move this fingernail. Just want to make sure that my symmetry is on. As you can see, the little red dot is showing on both sides. So the pinky over here, have the ring finger, have the middle finger, have the index, and the thumb. Slightly modifying. And here, what I want is to have a sharper end to the nail. So we'll go over here, and we're gonna slightly move these points right here. Should already go way better. And we're gonna do the same for the other fingers. So hope everybody is doing well. If you have questions, comments, just put it in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. Happy Friday, everyone. It's close to the weekend. I hope you didn't have a rough week. And if you did, time to relax. Grab yourself a drink, enjoy this 3D process. And here we go. As you can see here, it's going a bit too much in the finger itself. So we have two options. Either we move the fingernail closer or we grab our body. And what we'll do is we'll isolate it over here. And as you can see, this is ugly as hell. And that's why we hide it. And we're going to grab our pen and just carve in a little bit. It doesn't matter if you're making it pretty, because the fingernail is going to take its place anyway. Go. So now if we bring back the fingernails, we have a little bit of tweaking to do over here on the pointer, on the index. And here we go. Should be good. So now over here, we have the dynamic subdiv to level 2. If we crank it up just a bit, it'll go even smoother, and we can go even more. But the thing is, it's still calculating just this information. So it only has 180 polygons activated. So even if you subdivide 4 times in that dynamic subdivision, it won't register the pixels. So if you want to add details, it's just adding to the information that we already have in subdivision level 1. If, however, you want to add details to the fingernails, I recommend you subdivide instead. Subdivide once and a 4 time like we did with the dynamic subdivision. And now you can see that there's a lot more polygons activated. We'll go even one more. And if you want to put high details on the fingernails as such, you can go. You can go over here, add a little bit of texture to the fingernails. Gotta be honest, I don't think we're gonna see it because it's such a small piece. But you know, you can add them, practice your own control, clay brush, your own clay control. There you go. Just gonna do them Remember that if you're adding a bunch of details to fingernails, they're really small. Is it really worth to have 40k points active? Maybe not. If you're going for a higher statue, a bigger statue like 1/4 or 1/6, might be worth it. But only for this small piece that's going to be probably 4 centimeters up. Not so much. All right, so that's the fingernails. But today the main focus is in hair. So we're gonna focus on the head. And you have multiple ways to do it. There's a way that is a bit more creative that I like, and another one that is more constructive, building your own hair, one hair at a time. So depends on which style you want to do. We'll start with have this reference over here, the reference from last week. This one has a lot of style, which is really nice. This one over here is really interesting for our pawn piece. Might be cool to have like this berserker Viking style with 2 axes. Might be cool to have this one for the pawn, since it's a bit more savage. This one can be also interesting. The spirit over here might be cool for the knight. This one is old sage, so it might be interesting for maybe the rook. This long one is really interesting. So this one for the knight might be cool. Might be cool to have like 2 knights that been experiencing battle for a long time, so they're known to the kingdom, right? Now we have the beard, the king one over here. I think the hair is really nice. The medium hair, medium long hair. But I think the beard could be a little bit more improved. This one was really interesting for the beard. Not saying this one is an ugly beard, it's just not the one that we're gonna focus on. But I think this one can be cool to have on a king character. Maybe this hair and this beard together could be cool. Now we have this one. When we created the face, the eyebrows were really interesting to make for the face. So I think we're gonna use this shape for the foliage of the eyebrows, but probably not the beard. It's a bit messy for a king, but it might be interesting for our berserker or even for our rook. Maybe it could be cool. Or the bishop. The bishop could be also interesting. We have this one, short beard. I think it's pretty cool for a king. This one is AI, I'm not sure. Not sure. Not sure. No, no, no. It was signed, so no, no. Very nice. So the spirit, this kind of hair is really royal, so I think it's good. A ponytail for a king? Maybe not. Maybe not. But the beard is interesting for another character. Here we have differences. So, I think a bald beard, a bald king would be cool. But I kind of am decided for the medium hair. Yeah. But maybe for the pawn or the bishop could be interesting. I kind of like the mohawk idea for the pawn and maybe bald for the bishop. So that might be interesting. And maybe the ponytail for a knight. So let's imagine for the knight right here. We have this beard, which is really awesome with a ponytail. I think it's going to be really good. We have a bald head with a messy beard, a bit like this, yeah, for the bishop. And we have long hair with a short beard and some rings in it for the king. And the rook, usually it's a tower, so we're probably gonna go with a tower, but I'm thinking maybe we could kind of hint some elements of tower. See, like this one over here. He has a big helmet that looks like a tower. Might be interesting. Might be interesting to make a non-official rook on our character, but still still understanding that's a rook. So we'll start with a king. I think medium hair like this one, and a short beard like this one, and that's nice mustache. And we'll try with these eyebrows over here. I think it's a good mix of all of these three reference. Could be nice. So we'll start with the easiest, the eyebrows. So since they're pointing like this, and we're going for a stylized foliage, you have different options to do. The most popular one is extracting from your mesh already. So when you go to masking, oh, we're just going to make sure that our reference is not in the way right here. So when you go to masking and you go to lasso, you can lasso your mask right here. And we're just going to remove what we don't need. Like so. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because we're always tweaking what we have. Let's look like it's going this sort of shape. Like so. And you have another one that is going, and it's not connected, going like so. So trying to imagine it. Yeah, I think we're going like this. So I'm gonna start with the big portion first. Actually, no, we can extract both at the same time, but focus one after another. I'm gonna go to extract over here and putting the thickness to 0 and extracts and accept. What it does is duplicating what you already have, but only on the masking and separating so you can work with it, without affecting your body. And from here, for armor, a lot of people will recommend you to Z-Remesh. Since we're just having a basic idea of our hair, I'm not going to do so. What I'll do is I'll add already a thickness to it, and I'll dynamesh so we have more liberty of creating our own foliage the way we want. So to add thickness, you have multiple ways. You can either Z-Remesh, Z-Modeler, so in BZM, and from here, you just select the face. Just put your mouse on a face, hold space bar, go to extrude, and since we want all the polygons to do it, we can go to all polygon right here, and you extract like so. Oh my God, we didn't clear the mask in the back. No worries. Control Shift, selected, reversed, and delete hidden. All right. So now we have these awful eyebrows. No worries. Time for some tweaking. So what I'll do over here is I'll automatically auto groups, mirror and weld, so I can use both of them at the same time. We'll select one and we'll split hidden. That way we can work in two eyebrows separately. This one is this one, and this one is this one. You could also go with the move topological, move topology, which is BMT, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's the one. But this one is a bit more easier, because let's say you were using move tool and you accidentally move your other eyebrow. Might be frustrating. So here we're going to smooth it over a bit, like so. We're going to start shaping it. Here you have over here. What I'll do is I'll hide the other one just to make sure, and we'll make sure that the other one pops with this one. We're gonna dynamesh over here. We have 4,000 points, so we'll try to find something similar. And then slightly raise our dynamesh factor. I'm gonna go to black face mask. That way I don't affect the back side of it. And I'm just gonna add some thickness to it. First thing I'm gonna go is go to the back and make sure that we have enough thickness to have contact to the skin. Because remember, when you're doing 3D print, you want things to be watertight. So in order to make sure that it's watertight, make sure that it has contact to every piece together. So now, if we select our eyebrows, put a poly group, you clearly see that it's going inwards. So we'll make sure that'll make sure that it's watertight. There we go. So let's start shaping. We'll add some here. We'll go with the flow of our reference. Switch that. There we go. And what you can use is this snake tool. So I think it's hidden by my reference. The snake hook. Automatically, it'll suggest to have Sculptor Pro. You can put it right here. And what it does, it adds geometry locally to your brush. We can go over here and slightly add some hair like so. We're gonna go just like so. We're gonna grab our move tool. Put it to the right place that we want. No worry, this is just the blocking again. So snake S, B, S. There you go. So snake tool is a bit like a move tool, but a bit more aggressive. And depending on the size of your brush, it'll grab material differently every time. Obviously, we're using a reference, so most of the time you don't have to have exactly like the reference, but we're gonna try to get it closer. As you can see, my Sculptor's Pro is still active, so I'm still adding geometry locally. And if you pay attention to the active point on the left, top left, you'll see that it's adding geometry every stroke that I'm using. So just be mindful of that so you don't get a 10 million eyebrows, 10 million point eyebrows that you clearly don't need. And what we can do over here is going again on the snake hook tool, go even smaller and slightly making it pointy, like so. And what we'll do is we're gonna add some thickness to that strand of hair. And be mindful that when you're, you're smoothing with Sculptor Pros on, it's still adding geometry. So over here, I'm gonna say skip to you have this lower geometry, and here we have a much denser geometry. So that's because of Sculptors Pro. For now, I'm not too interested in the high definition and details. I just want to shape it, and then I'm going to tweak it and make, we're going to zero mesh, make it lighter, and then afterwards we're going to bake our details into it. So here I'm going to add a bit more thickness here. I'm going to smooth right here. Like so. We're going to grab our snake hook again. Make these ones a bit more pointier. Like so. And this one also. This one seems to be the pointiest of all. So I think we're going to drag it even further. Grab our mesh to see what it looks like. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I'll have to see with the hair and the beard. One thing that I noticed, it's a bit too big. So oh, go over here. We're gonna put it in the center of our mesh, like so. Gonna go to dynamic symmetry. That way it shrinks locally on each side. And yeah, I think it's much better now. It's not too big. We still have that other piece that needs to go in, so that's good. Put them a bit closer, and we're gonna move it. And again, I think now we can remove Sculptors Pro. Now for these pointy bits, it might be difficult to print them. For now, we're gonna keep them like this, but we might need to inflate them. So BIN, just to have a little bit more structure for when it's time for the resin to cure. There we go. Now for the other one, go over here and we'll modify quite a bit on it. First we'll smooth it, and it looks like it's having more of a V style over here. So we're gonna do the same over here. So BSH. We'll activate Sculptors Pro. Gonna move this part over here. We're gonna smooth it, and we're gonna create this little curve first. Gonna make sure it has contact to the skin of the eyebrows. so. And here with the snake tool, we're gonna grab this part over here and create this shape. We'll probably have to inflate it again. Inflate. There we go. Now you're looking into this and it's like it doesn't look at all as the reference. Doesn't matter. We're just getting a rough idea of the eyebrows, and we're gonna tweak it. Now somehow it's putting the gizmo on the bottom, so we're gonna snap it to our geometry. Shrink it just a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect like the reference, because also the reference is real hair, so you have to choose your battle in these kind of situation. Go like so, and I think for this one, I'm gonna push it over here also, so it kind of seems like it was the same eyebrow all along. This one we're gonna scooch it a bit in the air like the other one, and we're also gonna add some thickness on this side to make sure that it has contact to the skin. Make my life easier, I'll just focus on the head. Like so. Cool. Seemed like my microphone died for no reason, but it's even plugged in. Crazy. Alright, so that's that. We're gonna keep it closer to the head because of printing issues. If it's too far from the head, it's gonna be difficult to print without having to break. Because since it's a tiny detail on a on a small miniature, sometimes it'll break during your printing, and while you remove your supports, you might have some chances of breaking the eyebrows. So we'll leave it at like so. If we need some changes, we'll do it afterwards. But we'll focus on every element first, and then we're gonna add details, make the foliage nice. Just gonna add that little pointy stuff, pointy end over here. There we go. Gonna remove Sculptor's Pro. That's our eyebrows. The blocking of our eyebrows. We're gonna name them. For character creator, it's a lot easier to have everything named. Eyebrows 01 in eyebrows 002. All right, let's start for the beard. So we did one style. It was masking on your model right now, but you can also create by adding information to your mesh. So we can append a sphere. Automatically, that sphere is in the center of the world, which is in the bottom. Where's my head? Here we go. Right here. So we're going to activate symmetry and we're going to shape it. Again, take your time. Can move the dynamic. So we have a bigger range for our move tool, for our brushes. So just having the general shape of this part over here. Not focusing too much on the ponytail, but more for the bigger of the beard. Like so. And it has that ball effect right here. And now we're gonna use dam standard to draw in our little clumps of hair. Like so. All right. And another one right here. Might be a bit different because it's not showing another one in the back, so but it's our own piece, so you can have the liberty of doing whatever the hell you want to do. Here we go. You can see the beard is getting a bit thinner close to the cheekbone, so we're gonna do the same on this side. Kind of flatten everything over here. Have that nice ball effect on the chin and also on the side of the mouth right here. This, grab that. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I think it's a bit too much inside the mouth. Yeah, it's inside, it's touching the exterior part of the lips. Gonna isolate that and just move a bit inside. Move this kind of part over here. Make sure that nothing shows up in front. So we didn't do anything to the geometry right now, and just moving and doing a little bit of separation with dam standard. I think now it's a good way to just dynamesh. There's a lot of polygons right here, so probably gonna go a lot shorter than that, even shorter than that. There we go. Gotta smooth everything. Now we can even divide even further. Like so. And we can add volume and have this mimicking hair already. Here we go. Look at that. Now we're gonna add the rings, but before that we're gonna add the mustache first, just so we have a general look of the beard section. So to do so, I think I'll do the same with another sphere. By default, it's way down there. Bring it up to the nose. And what I'll do over here is I'll put it right here. I'll already, nope, we're not gonna mirror and weld already. We're just gonna do a little trick. Go to that gear over here with those modifier, bend and curve, change your axis to red is X if I'm not mistaken. And then here you can drag your hair and add division to your curve. So here we can see that it's going up, down, and up. So I'm gonna add 5 points, up, down, up. We're gonna put them a bit closer to the face. Like that. And now you can see that this part is way thicker than this part. So first part, we're gonna shrink the end, slowly shrink the middle, increase the middle, increase this part, and increase this part. And now you can always move it. Sorry. Like that. And the last thing we need to do, mirror and weld. Look at that mustache. Oh yeah. Activate symmetry and then tweak it a bit. Can add a bit more thickness up front. Here we go. Let's look at it with our whole body. That looks pretty good. Now we need to add those rings to the beard and also the hair. Let's start with the beard first, and then we'll finish up the beard, and then we'll start with the hair. So here, once again, I'll just isolate my body. What we can do, if I'm not mistaken, character creator automatically creates these poly groups. So we're gonna hide arms, body, legs. A lot more easier to separate. All right, so the rings, they look all the same. So for that, it's really easy. You can grab any shape over here. Let's say for a cube, select it. We'll focus on it. It's right here. We're going to go to initialize, and we're going to keep 2, 2, and 2, and we're going to create a cylinder on the y-axis. And what that does, it's creating this small cylinder with just a few faces. And it's a lot easier to manage than this kind of cylinder over here. If we were to add this kind of cylinder, you can see all these faces. It's a bit more difficult to manage in that case. We're going to delete this one. We're going to use this one over here, and we're going to bring it right on top with the beard. So we'll focus everything, move it to our beard. This one is so small, so we're going to scale it up. Scale the height down so we can have this effect right here. And we're going to put it just underneath this ball. And here, we're going to use our Z modeler tool. And we're going to isolate it first. So here what I'll do is I'll extract this face, this island. I'm going to press Alt to change the polygroups. And I'm going to do the same over here. And I want the same thickness, so you can just click and it'll keep the same thickness that you used before. And here, let's test it out with this island. I think that's close to what we want. Yeah, that's pretty good. And here, what we're going to do is create already the bevels. So you can go on the edge, press space, bevel, and you add that bevel on the edge loop. Now, seems to me that it reads a bit softer and sharper on the top. So we're going to do the same over here. We're going to do a bevel over here, but a slightly thinner one on the top. And here we're going to add some edge loop so it restrains that bevel a bit more. It'll keep that shape right here. And we'll do the same on the top also, because we want that sharp edge, that sharp bevel to happen. We'll do it over here. And let's see it out with dynamic subdivision. Feel like we can go even sharper over here. So we're gonna add one over here, one over here. Yeah, this one is a lot sharper. So you see the difference on the top and the bottom one. So this part is a bit more smooth, and the top part is a bit more sharp. So we're gonna aim for the same result over here. So I went over here. Yeah, that's it. It's pretty good. It does read also a bit of a scale in the middle. So what we can do over here is mask this edge loop over here, reverse the mask, and just scale it up. And additionally, we can even bevel this. And now it does have that nice curve on it. Here we go. So if we increase the subdivision, it's pretty similar to what we have over here. It does look a bit more smaller like so. And here we go. We're gonna shrink it down. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. So we're gonna duplicate it. We're gonna move it by controlling, holding control. No, wait, I already duplicated. I don't need a copy. So we're gonna duplicate and we're just gonna move it. I think we're gonna shrink it just a bit because this ball of hair is bigger than this one. We might have to rotate it. We're not finished with the beard. So we're probably gonna move these elements once again. Or maybe I'll do it off stream. But yeah. Now from here we're gonna duplicate it. We're just gonna control and drag. And it's gonna make a copy. Move it to the place we need. And lastly, this one over here, I think it might be interesting to have it even further in the back, like so. And what I'll do over here is grab this part of the beard and move it. So that way it reads that it's going in. Same for these. If you're hearing noises, it's my neighbors from upstairs. I think they're doing renovations. I'm sorry for that. Feels like a lawnmower. Who passes the lawnmower inside? In winter. Alright, now we have all our elements. We'll clear the mask, mirror and weld. And here we go. Have those nice rings. And we're gonna merge the center one. Merge down and accept. Now all of our rings are part of one single subtool, which is a lot easier to manage than having all of them separated. My opinion. If you like them separated, that's up to you. And now the last thing we need to do is those little pointy ponytails. So we can go ahead and append a sphere. And a bit like the same thing that we did for the ring, we're going to create them one by one. Bring it underneath, scale it up. And we're going to use the same technique as that we did for the mustache. Bend the curve. It's already in the great axis, so we'll go over here. This one close over here. This one scale it up quite a bit. This one also. I'm just going to shrink it down over here and bring this one even further. And this one we're going to shrink it down. Seems to me we need to add a bit of resolution on the curve. There we go. This one we're going to shrink it. Just so we have the shape. Don't need to do the clumps of hair already. Same deal, duplicate. Move it to where you need. Shrink it the way you need. Control and drag to make a copy. and another one. This one we're going to shrink in quite a bit because beard tends to be thinner in the back on this model also. Here we go. And we're gonna add details to every of those pointy ponytails. So do not worry of too much on the shape. Mirror and weld, and that's it. We have the beard, the elements of the beard all in place. All we'll need to do is add the details of the hair. There we go. So if we go back to our model, so you can see the beard is going inside the body. There's two things we can do. We can leave it as such and we'll see with the pose if it affects the geometry. Or the second thing it would be to modify the beard right now and hope that our modification doesn't affect anything. So I think we're gonna keep it as it is. And then afterwards, when we pose our character, it's gonna be a lot easier to see if the beard is in contact with the chest. Since the king is standing up, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to tweak the beard a bit. Uh, but let's say in case it's a berserker and he's a bit more leaned forward, maybe the beard it's gonna be in the air instead of touching the chest. All right, so that's the beard right here. So we're gonna take a short break just so I can go to the bathroom, and we'll be right back. Won't be too long. Alright, people, we're back. So we're gonna continue on with the hair of our character. There we go. So for the hair, we're going more for a medium long hair. This one, I believe it's a bit too long. This one is pretty good. I think we're going with this style of hair. And this one is I don't know why, but my headset always turns down for some reason after quite a while. Like it doesn't understand that I'm talking. Anyways, so the hair. Yeah, something like that could be cool also. Just a little small strand of hair. Yeah, we'll go with something like this and this combined. Yeah, so we're gonna go with the first approach that we did with the eyebrows for this one. So we're gonna mask the skull right here. And you can see in the reference over here, you can see part of his forehead right here. So we're gonna mask this part here, but unmask this portion over here. Yeah, like that. And for the eyebrows, we're going to extend the mask like so. And I think we'll be good to go. So here what I'll do is I'll extract with a small thickness already to save some time. We'll go with 0.2. Nope, that's too big. 0.02. That's good. We'll accept it. Remove the mask. And by default, the gizmo is in the bottom. We'll remove symmetry for just a moment so we can move the cursor right in between the hair. And we will shrink it down so it has a better contact to the head. And now for the medium part of the hair. So you see this one is a bit more nice, combed up in the back. And that one is a bit more messy. I think for a king, it could be cool that we have a cleaner hair like this one. And for our pawn, which will be more barbaric, we'll have looser hair for the beard, looser hair for the mohawk. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a nice contrast to all our characters together. All right, so let's go over here, activate symmetry. We're gonna go with clay buildup. We're gonna smooth a bit everything to start. And what I'll do right now is just to have a general understanding of the hair. So we're gonna add quite a bit of volume at first, and we're gonna carve it also, just to understand where our clumps of hair are going to be. There we go. We're gonna carve in right here to have that separation from the top and the sides. And remember, take your time. If you're doing a project similar and you're doing hair, it takes time. And you always have that ugly part of your project where everything looks just off. You tend to want to cancel everything and just start a new project. Keep working on that one. Make it better, and it's gonna be a lot more gratifying to finish this one. So here we can actually have fun and move this part over here. Have this little ball style of separation. Can use them standard to just understand better the separation. And what I'll do here, just to so we can understand that it's a bit longer hair, we'll move it like so, like that. Yeah, here we go. Right, going back to our clay buildup, we'll add some volume. Here we go. Now everything is a bit symmetrical right now, but we're gonna break the symmetry real soon. Usually what you do is you go symmetry on the side, and going closer to the middle, you deactivate the symmetry and you tweak it to have it more of an organic look. Here like that. I'm gonna use that dam standard to separate this clump over here. And again, we're just shaping the hair. We're not gonna do every hair separately, but we're just creating the shape so we can read the character better. Sorry. Right. What is that? What did that look? That's pretty good. Probably gonna add these small hairs right here. And again, we're gonna subdivide everything. Make sure that we have enough resolution to add details. I think a good way to do that would be to Dynamesh. I think it's a good time to Dynamesh over here, so we're gonna go with 8. Yep. I still don't understand Dynamesh. It's like sometimes a secret number is calculating in the back, so sometimes you put 120 and it gives you 10 million polygons. Sometimes you just put 3 and it gives you 10 million polygons. So it's really interesting how it works, but it's life. Here we go. Adding those little hair. So now we can break symmetry. Like so. And we can also create this kind of shape over here. Now you can break symmetry and work on the sides of the hair separately. It'll make it even more organic. Or you can keep it on and having the same thing happening one side and applied on the other side. It does save some time, but you just remember to tweak it so it gives it more of a natural look. There we go. So here we're gonna add just a little bit of volume to understand that this hair is individual to the whole clump. And same on this side also. Now we can always use our snake hook to make that a bit more pointier. Same over here. Same over here. Oh, this one's a bit ugly. Same over here. Like so. And like so. All right. So let's just squish it a bit. It looks a bit too puffy right now? Here we go. Don't worry if the head is showing a bit. Once we add a bit more hair, it won't show up anymore. So now it looks like a badass king. So here we're gonna add some hair, and we're slowly gonna define a bit the shape of the hair flow. The way I like to do that is with dam standard, not dam standard, with clay buildup with a alpha of a rectangle. So basically the basic alpha that comes with the software. It does give those harsh line that's really nice to have for hairs. So we'll just leave it as so, and you can see that if I give it a stroke, that kind of looks like a hair clump already that's already been being built. Now we're just gonna add a bit of volume, removing a bit of that ball effect, just so we can understand that it's hair and not just like a ball of hair spawning of nowhere. Like so. Here we go. And here we're gonna remove the symmetry, and we're gonna create a bit of a style in front here, removing a bit on one side, removing a bit on the other side, but not so much symmetrical, so it gives that nice organic look. There we go. And on the back, we'll do the same over here, but we'll add a little bit of twirl to it. Now you can get loose on it, don't worry. For hair, if you're getting loose, it's even more organic. If you're going a bit too by the book, you'll lose that organic part of it. It's just gonna look a bit too robotic. So have fun with your hair. Create those nice shapes, and once you see something interesting, work on it. You see over here, I have these little 3 twirls that I like. I think I'm gonna do similar ones on this side. And since I'm working without the symmetry, it'll look even more unique, like natural hair. Our hair is not that symmetric, unless you make it symmetric, but naturally, it's not that symmetric. So before going any further in making more details, what I'll do is I'll zero mesh everything, and I will bake what we have already done. So there's 2 ways to do that. I'm just gonna finish this little part over here. There you go. Kind of looks cool, just a little bit on top. Just so that our zero mesh understand a bit more of the shape that's happening around here. All right. Looks pretty cool to me. So there's 2 ways to do that. Either you control click on your history right here where you want it. So the most advanced part of your mesh, or you can duplicate it. We'll go with the first option. So control click over here, and now we're gonna zero mesh everything. Gonna go to about 2000 polygons, if I'm not mistaken, right here. We're gonna let it calculate. There you go. So we're at 3,900 polygons, so you can see it's a lot more blocky. We're gonna subdivide once, twice. I think that's gonna be good. And we're gonna project our history. Here we go. Have the details that we started doing on the Dynamesh. So we're gonna subdivide once again and project again. And here we go. Now we're back to where we were. Just smoothing a little bit more. And now we can toggle back and forth into our division. And it's a lot easier for Zbrush to read, us to manage, and character creator to read also. Well, it's been a while I didn't save, so we're gonna save. And this one, it's gonna be 003. Here we go. So look at that. Looks quite nice, eh? What do you guys think? So we just did the blocking of the hair, mustache, eyebrows, the beard. And for now, we can leave it as it is, so we can just either send it to a character creator, or we can also put him some underwear because he's been making for a long time. So we're gonna do that just right now. So we're gonna isolate the arms, and then we're gonna send everything to character creator. Now we're gonna make, yeah, we're gonna make like a bit of a We're gonna make a bit underwear, like a traditional underwear over here. So here, there we go. We're gonna mask this part also. There we go. And a bit on the top part. Just gonna remove a bit of the belly. I think that's good. Regardless of if you're keeping the underwear or not, for the barbaric, it's nice to have the underwear. But for the king, since we're gonna put him some clothes, some armor. In the end, we're not gonna bother much about the underwear. But for the pawn, it might be interesting to do. So here I'm gonna go 0 thickness, extract and accept. Just want to make sure that that's the only element here. Here we go. And the way you can do that is you select it and delete hidden, and if you have this message, you're good to go. So here we're gonna zero mesh, and I'm gonna remove that. So we're gonna zero mesh to 1. I think it's gonna be enough. Yep, that's enough already. And we're gonna extract everything. What we can do also is just polish by groups. If you're trying to find this option, it's in the bottom, polygroups, and no, sorry, it's in deformation, polish by groups, and the more you slide it, the more it polish. And here we're gonna extract the whole thing. Doesn't really matter if the geometry is colliding. And here we go to dynamic. It's a bit too thick right now, so I'm gonna remove it quite a bit. And here we go. Just so next time we see it, he's not naked and it's a bit more PG-13. So here we're gonna scooch the bottom. We're gonna scooch this part over here. Oh, this part over here. So it covers the bottom. And we're gonna polish by group again and again and again and again and again and again. What we can do is we'll smooth this part over here. Oh, it's a bit too aggressive. Actually, what we can do is we can zero mesh once again with our keep groups. With the smooth groups activated, the adapted size we can remove, and we can go half. There we go. It's not that much important for the underwear, like I said, but just nice to have something that he's wearing. All right. So now we can send everything to character creator. We'll save just before that. Dear Lord, that was loud. All right. All right, so we're ready to send everything. We're just gonna make sure. You see, this is 53,000 points, and our character at the most minimum, it's 13,000. So we're gonna prep the eyebrows before sending it to character creator. The mustache is fine. The beard, we'll have to zero mesh it. The rings are good, and the little beard ponytails might be heavy, but we'll try regardless. So here, just first thing, we're gonna merge the ponytails together. And we're gonna name them beard 003. We're gonna make the ring 002. And we're gonna make this part the main part. Beard 001. We're gonna call the mustache. Just gonna move this together. There we go. And this part over here. Eyebrows number 1 and eyebrows number 2. All right, so they're named, and this over here, we're gonna call it hair. Just in case we want to create other elements, we're gonna call it 001 for the hair. Because let's say we wanted that strain of hair that was flowing from the forehead to the cheek. We can add it afterwards, and we'll already have the name correctly done. So let's zero mesh this part over here. We'll save our history, control click, go 1, and zero mesh. We'll subdivide once, twice, and project our history on it. That's good. And we'll do the same for the eyebrows. So control over here, zero mesh. That's pretty good. One, twice, and project history. Same for this one. Control click. Target 1, zero mesh. This one I don't think we need much more than that. That's it. And the hair is already done. The ponytail. We didn't do anything on the ponytail, so we'll just zero mesh it to 1. Yeah, it's a lot easier to manage afterwards. So we can go click all low, and we have all the resolution lowered. The mustache, it's fine like that. And we're ready to send everything. So we're gonna save these changes, and we're sending everything back to character creator. Click on your star, and we click on Cozy All. And here in character creator, we're gonna just remove our reference over here. I'll go and press OK. And now here, the star, we don't give a damn about it. Oops, sorry. Update. Here we go. So for the rest of our elements, it'll update. For our eyebrows, it's creating new elements. And our fingernails are going to be updated too, because we subdivided them and added details on them. So all the elements over here, we're gonna create them. But one thing we need to do is to assign them a category of elements. Now I just want to make sure what's that extract 3. So we're just gonna go over here and see. Oh, it's our underwear. So our underwear, we need to name it, because if we name it afterwards, it's gonna create another element for no reason. So underwear. So here in character creator, we cancel it, and we're gonna send it afterward, everything again. Click on the star, click all, click OK, and now it's underwear. It's going to create everything. So the underwear, we create cloth, that's good. Hair, we're going to create a accessory. Eyebrows, same. The other eyebrows will be the same. Beard, accessory. Mustache, accessory. So everything that is hair, we're going to create an accessory. And the reason why, it's because afterwards we can attribute it to a hair, a beard, or a mustache. And every time we're going to create a character, we can reuse these elements on our new character. Just want to make sure, once again, everything is good. All right, so we're going to click update. And here we go. So you see our elements are back in our scene. Even the underwear. And here in the hair, we're going to go create in modify. So hair, create hair. It will ask if you want to reset the facial expression. You should just say yes. And here we're going to go base all because it's taking all the hair, all the head of our character. And we're going to go one by one attributing everything on our character. So here mustache, beard, beard 1, it's pretty much the full beard. Beard 2 is a accessory. Yeah. Beard 3, oops, just had a spasm over here, is accessory also. You can change it afterwards if the skin weight doesn't attribute it, doesn't transfer to the a good way, you can switch it up. And eyebrows and eyebrows. Bada bing, bada boom. So now, if we put on a pose, I didn't select my character. If we put on the pose and we move that hand just a bit so we can see the hair. Oops. Here we go. So the accessories didn't transfer, so I think we're gonna switch it to a full beard instead. The eyebrows are good, the mustache is good, but the beard, only the base part has been transferred. So we're just gonna see where the rest of our yeah, the beard elements didn't move at all. So we're gonna bring back our bind pose, restored bind pose. And we're gonna go over here. Full beard. And full beard also. And now, gotta select the character. Here we go. Now we have the elements. Now, if you see they're distorted, it's because character creator assigned skin weights to these elements, and they're probably linked on another bone. So the way to fix this, we'll select our elements. We're first going to restore our bind pose. We're going to select our elements, so beard number 3 and beard number 2. we'll go to give me a second. Just trying to find the skin weights. No, I think this will break the whole rig, so we're not gonna do that. Here. Yeah, I think since the basic character, so I'll have to do some research on this one. Facial hair vertex assignment. Let's see that. Okay. Go for beard. Let's try it again. We'll have to tweak on that. Probably something to do with the skin weights. Regardless, so if we're transferring information from Zbrush to character creator, we can just put our base pose on it, and then afterwards we'll modify it in Zbrush. Strange. So yeah, so now all the elements are here. If we would want to save this beard, we'll go to beard, custom, hair, hairstyle. Sorry, did I select the beard? Yeah, beard. We'll go hair group, and here we can save beard dwarf king 001. And we go for the beard. Here we go. So now our beard is loaded in the scene, saved in the scene. So if we're creating another character and we want to reuse that same beard, we can apply it. We can do that for all this element. For sake of the stream, we'll move forward from there. But now all our elements are in character creator. And yeah, pretty cool. So here in ZBrush, we're gonna add details to our hair. So we can go all high, save, and we're gonna add some details in every element that we have. So let's get started. First for the hair. Now we have these nice clumps that we can do from the side. And also we can do these kind of clumps on the top of the hair. And also have some loose hair. So we'll just go a bit freestyle for the hair right now. There we go. So I'm not sure if I can put music in the stream right now, but that's something that I'll look forward for the next stream. That way you don't have these awkward silence with me working. and you're just wondering what's gonna happen next. So yeah, for these little parts where I'm just working, we're gonna put some music if we can. And if you guys know if I can put music, it's just leave it in the comments. So you see I had these shape already created before, and I'm just adding small strands of hair just to define the shape, and just follow what you already did. And hair can be messy, can be clean. So for now it looks like a bit more of a cleanish hair. You can always also buy brushes that adds clumps to your hair. But for now we're just gonna use the clay buildup and the dam standard. We don't need too much for now. See, so I'm just adding strands, going smaller and smaller. And you see here I have this flow going over here. Just gonna work on that. And here I have another flow that it's created. Just gonna go on top and follow that flow of hair. And if you notice, I haven't smoothed everything. That's a bit of a preference. I like it a bit messy with the lines. It gives that sculpted look. But if you want to smooth away. Also here might be interesting since we have these two strands going here. Might be nice to break the strain with another one and kind of cover the first one and start a new one. Here we can go over here, add for this little part, and here we can see that this hair kind of goes underneath this clump. So we're gonna start with this one, add the volume, just go slightly on top so I give that illusion that it's underneath. Here we're gonna go right here. Give that nice twirl. And follow the flow of the hair. So already you can see the difference of what we had before. And that's with just clay buildup. We'll go with dam standard afterwards to refine those carved in clumps. Here we go. That's kind of nice. Kind of gives that flow that he was having a what we call it, a braid. So a braid in its hair, and it's naturally flowing that way since he's been having the braid for a long time. And remember that in medieval times they didn't have like Head and Shoulders shampoo, so it's probably normal that his hair is sticking and keeping the form from a long time. All right, so you see the middle part is pretty good. Gonna add a little bit of volume over here, a little bit of volume over here, and we can start going from the sides, just a bit on top. Reduce that brush, and you just take your time and admire what you're working, what you're doing, how it all came down from this. Remember, we started with this, and we're building a badass dwarf king. So just need to believe in yourself. Just go one step at a time, and it'll work. And if you don't know what you're doing, you just need to ask for help, and you can always ask in the comments if you have any questions in the software or how to go as an artist, how to go with the design that you're going with. I'm happy to help. Last week was the first stream I ever made, so it was pretty new to me. And since then, I've been doing some research, how to make some overlays, how to interact with you guys, what to show. So it's all a learning curve for me also. So this this project is a dream of mine, being a full-time 3D artist, doing miniatures, and I'm building slowly building everything, and it feels amazing. Sorry. See, so now we have that nice hair flowing. You have these three big strands. I think we can break it. Just add a smaller one over here, just underneath this one. Gonna reduce, increase this part over here, and I think we're gonna go with a nice S shape. Here we go. So just that breaks these three. Actually breaks more these two, but it kind of flow with the third one. And this one over here, we're gonna add this nice shape. Thank you, Miss Miriam Sarkatier. Nah, I'm kidding. I can speak French. Merci, Miriam. So here, you just follow the flow of your hair. And if you want to add a little bit of clumps, just add those clumps. Make it messy, make it nice, whatever you feel. So you see here, I'm kind of hesitating on what to do on that little car part. So I think I'm gonna separate these two parts over here, make it more defined. And what I'll do over here is separate kind of a flame shape. So we'll go just, we'll go this way. We'll go this, yeah, we'll go this way and we'll go this way. So like that. Go. So if you just joined up, we're making a chessboard, and instead of the traditional piece of chess, we're making a medieval 3D printed dwarf army that's going to replace the chess pieces. And right now we're working on the hairstyle of the king piece. This is a project that's going to take quite a while to do, but we're going to make each design for the army. So we'll have the king, the bishop, the rook, the knight, the pawn, the queen. I think that's all of them. Keep forgetting one or two. But yeah. And here, instead of having this long string, we're gonna break it. We're gonna add volume over here. Gonna break that part, and we're gonna continue this part over here. There we go. So looks pretty good. Now again, we just made this with clay buildup. We're gonna refine with DEM standard afterwards, and it's gonna read even better than what we have right now. There we go. So what you can do here is you grab your move tool, and these little clumps, we can add a little bit of pointiness to them. Like that. And you go back with clay buildup and just finish that clump. That way it reads a bit better. It's just not a clump that finishes flush. You can do that again with this one over here. Here we go. And grab that clay buildup. Here we go. And that's one side. Let's go on the other side so you can really see the contrast of one part that we did probably 10 or 20 minutes of work, and this part which is really more defined. So we'll start on the other side too. Let's go. Follow the flow of the hair, and that's it. Just follow the flow. Like Uncle Iroh said to Zuko, Come on, you just need to flow. So here we had big clumps over here, and now I'm realizing that I'm doing small clumps over here. Might be interesting to have that contrast, but in here you're probably it's a bit more aesthetic to go big and then small. So I'm gonna follow that same principle over here. And then if I want afterwards, I'll add small clumps to that section. It's a bit more appealing than having one side small and one side big. I'm not mimicking everything, but I just want the same flow. Just gonna finish the hair, and I'll continue on with the rest of the foliage off stream. And unfortunately, I think I won't be able to show you everything, but in order to make this project a bit more interesting to show on stream, this next chapter will be more about armors and weapons, and we'll work on that afterwards. We'll create every element of the armor set, and probably one episode will be how to add details to an armor set. And since we have 6 characters, well, 7 characters, but 6 of them will gonna be the same body type, there's a lot of opportunities for me to show you guys how to create armors and add details. So don't worry, we'll have a lot of work. We'll have a lot of stuff to show you guys. Here we go. So here we have that separation creating over here. We'll just break that separation just a bit with this strain of hair and then continue it with the flow. Makes it a bit more organic and a nicer appeal to the hair. Just looking a bit what we did on the other side, I think it's a good way it's a nice way to start going from the back over here to see how the hair is flowing. Yeah. So here we'll go right here, creating that singular one. And a bit like we did on the other side, we'll separate that clump over here and create the bottom one over here. That way it's not just one big hook, it's just multiple ones. Here. And we'll go right here. Creating this flow. So over here they're getting a bit smaller than the other side, so let's increase our size a bit. Again, might be some adjustment to do. Here we go. And this will go right here. This one right here. So we have those 3 bumps. I think this one should be separated right here. And we can start the flow right here. Make that one right here. And now here, grab our move tool, create points for the clumps, points for this clump, and points for that one. And we can already create another one over here. Grab our buildup, clay buildup, and add it over here. And grab this one over here. And finally, let's just add some volume on this one. Here we go. So now you have somewhat of a realistic hair flow, but still with a bit of stylized element to it. And here we go. Now we can use Dam Standard. I'm not going to be able to do it till the end of the stream. I'm going to finish at 2 o'clock. But we can go over and just gently just carve in those separation. Don't push it too much because it'll look a bit like I don't know how to say it, but it'll look off. But if you keep it just a gentle touch, just so we can read more the separation of the hair without destroying what you did, it'll look nice. See, already we read a little bit more the clumps, and you can even separate a bit more. I recommend doing it from a distance. That way you can read it from afar. If you're too close and you separate like so, it'll just read a bit weird from a distance. So just slowly, gently separate. See, like this separation here, I don't think it's worth it, but this one, it's really nice. This one over here, this one over here. Just a tad, not too much. There we go. All right. So we created the hair, the eyebrows, mustache, the beard in 3 elements. We also did underwear, so we don't see him naked as much. We did some details in the hair with 3 techniques different that we use the hair, the masking, no, actually 2 techniques, masking and extracting from there, and using Dynamesh and our snake tool to make those little curves. We did that with the eyebrows, with our hair, and for the beard and the mustache, we created a sphere going with the curve modifier, and same with the little ponytails that we did over here. And as for the beard, just imported a sphere and modified it with Dam Standard. So on the next stream, you're probably going to see more details in the beard and the rest of the foliage. And we're going to start making armor. For the king, we're going with a chainmail armor and a bit of a cloak, similar to this kind of design and this kind of design, but also this one over here. We don't want it too armored because he's the king, so he's more leading the the pact from his throne, but we still want some armor because it's a dwarf, and dwarf are always in armor. So yeah, we're gonna create shoulder pads, a chainmail, some boots, probably some braces, but the rest will be clothes. And for the rest of the characters, for the knight, it's probably going to be full armor. The berserker, it's going to be a little bit more of a light armor and more of a chest, bare chest style. So I hope you had some fun on today's stream. Thank you for being here, and really appreciate if you consider subscribing, leaving a comment or how you like the stream. If you also have some critiques, I'm still new to the streaming, so if you want different stuff or if different tips on what I should do for the next stream, just leave the comments. And yeah, so comment, like, subscribe, and share. Share. It's really appreciated if you share the stream. I want to show this to everybody in the world. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope to see you in the next stream, and have a great